This. Okay, so welcome to today's session. We are on day 3 of the Evergreen Quest. Just a quick reminder what we did on day 1. We looked at the map maker's vision where we defined your North Star, and we did a bit of sort of soul searching around how do you want to build your business, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live, the time, the finances, and really sort of get you aligned around what it is and how you actually want to build this. So it's actually the vehicle. Now, in day 2, we looked at the vehicle and the offer basically a little bit more in detail and helped you brainstorm and looked at the matrix as well that was in the workbook to really get your blueprint in place as in how you're going to achieve the impact and the impact that you desire as well. Okay, today, obviously, we've got an offer. This is always the most important thing is to actually have something to sell at the end. And so it will determine how you're going to be visible, how you're going to message to the market, and how you're going to show your expertise. So this is why the most logical order is now to look at your visibility before we go into the launching, because people think they can just do a launch, but there's a lot of prep work for this, especially when it comes to, first building a bit of an audience before they do a launch. So that's why we put in the visibility. And today it's all about the queen's visibility, job like a queen, like you are your very own sales queen. And we're going to build evergreen visibility again with the mindset of evergreen. So you don't reinvent the wheel over and over again, so that you create assets in your business that you keep somewhere, you store it, and you can reutilize these over and over again as well. So really be clever around these items. And then also perhaps we need to become a little bit clearer around which platforms are the best places. And of course, we always have choice between organic marketing. So organic visibility means free, but obviously we put in our time and energy. Or we have a paid route as well, which is, for example, paid Facebook ads. Obviously, other ads like YouTube ads, which I also have experience about with. I have mainly experience with Facebook ads. I help my clients put them in place as well, and then YouTube ads to some extent. Because I think YouTube is really a platform that's up and coming. We don't know what's happening with TikTok. There's obviously all this conversation going on. Um, but yeah, I think Facebook is still a great platform. LinkedIn is another platform you might want to utilize. So these are all the kinds of things we might want to think about. Maybe if you can just let me know what's your preferred platform, that would be super helpful for me to understand, and perhaps we can brainstorm some ideas because each platform obviously is slightly different. Even Instagram, like with Instagram Reels and things like that, that's probably more for the creatives. I mean, all my kids say Facebook is a mom's platform, and that's where you're at home. I'm like, yeah, yeah. LinkedIn also ads for Facebook. Yeah, I've not used LinkedIn ads. I don't know how well they are performing, but then we know there are tools out there that help you reach outs on specifically on LinkedIn that can actually connect with new people for free, then sends them a message and sort of just organic kind of outreach. So there are other tools available, and they could be expensive. Yeah, you're right. LinkedIn, on Facebook. Yeah. So I mean, they can be expensive, um, but obviously you need to know what we're doing, and there is a process around setting up Facebook ads and then seeing the results and seeing the return on investment. So this is why it's so super important to actually start off having a really great foundation, testing some of the messaging, getting some insights on what your audience really wants and needs before you actually spend money on any ads, because obviously just just I guess you need to have a bit of a budget that you can just say, okay, if nothing comes out of it, that's it. I've just spent it to get something, basically. Yeah, LinkedIn is expensive. Yeah, I've not tested it. I'd be curious to understand. Cool. let's go into the queen's visibility. Show up like a queen. Now, what I want to say about this visibility piece is, no, this is not everybody's cup of tea, and you may be an introvert, um, and you may not feel comfortable on camera. So it's up to you how you want to show up. Obviously, it's just the idea is you got to show up somewhere so people can actually find you and what you do. So that's the idea. And also, I think sometimes we just put ourselves too much under pressure as well. We have to show up every day and we have to do this, that, and the other. Well, there shouldn't be no have tos and shoulds and all this. Like, look, what feels right for you? Think about it. Like, what feels fun? Because when it feels fun and it feels right, it feels aligned, then you want to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to do it, right? So that's just something I want to say about this because it otherwise it feels like pressure and doesn't feel nice. So it's really and I'm trying to give you some prompts today to help you with this fun factor as to like how can I show up with fun in my space so that I can show up as the expert and I don't have to pretend, I don't have to be someone else and dance on TikTok or whatever, right? So it's really being authentic, showing up authentically as you and making it also easy in terms of creating that content. So I think I already said, yeah, welcome to day 3. Today we're going to talk about visibility, how to show up, and actually not burning out. And I don't think we need to be online 24/7, right? So what the struggles with visibility? Now, quite often we are not very consistent, right? We're posting maybe sporadically and we don't really have a plan. So um, if we had a bit more of a plan around strategic content as well, then we would probably be more consistent as well. And that actually goes with point 2, relying on trends instead of evergreen strategies. Because if we are doing what we did day 2 was actually creating an offer. Now, an offer, usually the way I teach it is we put together a signature framework. Okay, so we have steps that your client goes through. And quite often there could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps to get to a certain result. So each of the steps may have a couple of actions involved. And actually, I will show you my offer and my steps at the end. A, I want to share with you that there is a way to work with me and what that is. B, it can also serve as a case study to share with you how you can structure a program and how you can then look at the content, because each of the steps could have a number of content pillars within, right? So if you look at it, each step could have, for example, with the visibility, right? I could now write probably 3 different posts just about what I've got on the screen. And it's all to do with my visibility pillar. So you really got to think about what are the questions that people might be asking or struggling with in your niche. And that's how we create content. And that's when content becomes strategic and it links up with your offers, with your paid offers. And this is why this point 2 here is very important, that we're not just posting random things and, I don't know, even political things or rants about what's happening nowadays. Whatever. It's really about creating strategic content that links to your offers. Okay, very important. And when I talk evergreen, when I say evergreen, I have a 90-day cycle and you can extend it. You could even create 365 pieces of content if you wish to do so, or you could do 90 days, see what's working, what the posts that still align, and then you can use those over and over again. And what you want is a repurposing system around it. And that's point 3 is entrepreneurs may not think about this repurposing content and how to actually do this. There are so many amazing tools out there nowadays we should be tapping into to help us with this. So I've got a whole list of tools for you today as well as to how can you repurpose content? How can you create one piece and then create many different pieces around it as well? So visibility, I would say, is the lifeblood of your business. And the problem is that often business owners don't get enough eyeballs onto, people seeing your stuff, which is absolutely the make or break. Visibility needs to be key. Obviously, built on a solid foundation, which are your offers, which are your messaging, which is alignment with the audience and all the things we talked about in day one and day two. So these are the three pillars of the evergreen visibility. Okay, so where do we get started? This is always like the problem. How do we create strategic content? How do we come up with the information, the ideas? I'm just checking the comments. Yeah, I like posting, but I don't have any systematic posting. Yeah, and you go by what feels important. Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's absolutely space for in the moment posts. What I'm saying is, I guess this evergreen notion is like having something that runs all the time, regardless, and that you can just pre-post and it's just happening. So, for example, with one of my memberships, I just checked my post plan this morning, and it was just amazing because I created 90 days of posts in themes. So again, according to what we deliver in the program, there are 12 pillars. That means I have now 12 weeks of content because each pillar could be, or each theme, each week has now 5 posts within that. I've put that into a document. I added the images, and of course, I have the help from a VA as well. And then she just posted that in. And I use a tool called Post Planner. And if you need a tool, something like this, then I can recommend that one. Maybe I have a link somewhere for it. But what it lets you do is it lets you create buckets within the tool to say, okay, this is week 1 all the way to week 12. And it saves the post. And I can choose which week I want to run. So each week it kind of alternates. So week 1, I have the week 1, and then I change it over to week 2. So it just runs. But now I'm hosting a summit. So I have like an additional event coming up, which wasn't pre-organized 90 days ago. And I just post in the moment. But I know all the other posts are still promoting my membership in the background all the time without me having to reinvent it again and again. I will summarize all the tools, Gosha, and perhaps give you the link because some people were interested in perhaps even looking at school as a platform for hosting the courses. So I'm gonna get kind of a link out as well on this one. Okay, I've got it sorted. Don't worry. I might put it into the workbook for you as well after. So that's your and the way we structured the content for these 90 days, and then we put it all into a Google Doc, right? So week 1, post 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could also use Trello. A Trello board is a great way to organize content a bit more visually. You could also have week by week by week a little list, and then you can also attach other things like your image in there as well. So it's a bit we can move things around. But yeah, we started off with what are the problems? So we have 12 weeks, 12 themes, 12 problems that we want to solve. Of course, I just told you how I would repurpose this. Now we have a post. In theory, I could now create little videos from those posts. Or if you're better on video and you just like showing up on video, you could then use the video, transcribe it, and there are many tools out there. One free one, again, I'm going to put this into the list of tools, is Turboscribe. Now, there's a few others. I like the ones that have sort of a free thing as well, and you can just have a kind of 3 free transcriptions a day. This one So I could use a video, and for the free version lets you upload a video of up to 30 minutes of length. Um, so if you were to do a Facebook Live or a LinkedIn Live, I mean, sometimes if you're that great, I need some bullet points. Otherwise, I won't just randomly. So I'd like to have bullet points in front of me already. So I would then use a transcription, and then I could create posts or an email or a LinkedIn newsletter from that as well. So it could be one or the other way. It could be the other way around as well, that you start off with a written something and then you create a video from that. And we can be very, very clever around repurposing and creating more content pieces from just one content. And then we want to automate it, right? So as I said, I'm using this post planning tool that lets you put in those buckets. It just runs. I just know every day there's a post going out, which is brilliant. And I agree, the algorithms on the platforms aren't great. I think platforms really want you to pay for the visibility nowadays. That's why sort of a hybrid of perhaps running some ads and then organic is, in my opinion, is the best route. And it's very hard to actually control organic marketing and posting because not a lot of people may be seeing it, right? Um, you just don't know. However, when people want to look you up and they see something from you, right? Maybe they see you on YouTube, they hop over onto LinkedIn or Facebook and see whether you've been active at all. And if someone isn't active for a long time, you'd wonder whether they're a legit business, right? So think about it in that sense as well, in terms of this visibility, in terms of the posts. They could also just serve as almost mm, like a bit of a library where people can research you and get to know you a little bit more. Of course, you can also use groups, and people have a lot of success going into Facebook groups or having their own groups. There are definitely amazing ways to drive organic traffic. But I guess the key is just to automate the foundational stuff, and so you always have things going out. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a sec. Welcome to all the new ladies that have just joined. We're talking about visibility today. So if you have any questions, do let me know. Yeah. And of course, any sort of tools that I'm sort of mentioning today, I will go back into the workbook and then provide you with a sort of a trial link. I have some links around. And then obviously the free tools I've already put in there for you as well. Okay. So let's start with pillar number one. How do we think about this problem solving content? And just don't get me wrong, we don't just want to teach people in terms of content. We want to also think about other ideas, and that's why I put it here. Content tips, right? Obviously, one of the things content should be answering is your audience's frequently asked questions. I think this would be the easiest way and the most fun way as well, because we want to share our expertise, and that's a great way to get started, right? So, what are the sort of questions they might have? And that solves their problem and builds trust, positions you as an expert. Really, that's the idea. Gosh, I'll come back to you around the different tools, what's easier to use. It always depends whether you prefer to work visually, or obviously everybody has access to kind of Google. Some people don't like it, but I can what's easier to use. I find both very easy to use, obviously. Okay. So example, yeah. So think of one question your audience asks all the time. If you want to type it into the chat, I'd love to hear what kind of questions do you think your audience is asking you, and how can you turn your answer into blog post, video, or social post. And don't forget, we also have AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude. That's another one that I use when helping me to brainstorm some of the content, and giving me more exciting kind of hooks, for example, or sort of questions that entices a bit more people to listen in because it has to be very intriguing as well. So we've got to really think about, because there's so much stuff out there. So how do we stand out? How do we really pull them in? And really think about a question that is really burning. Like, what are the burning questions? And it's going to solve the problem. It helps them instantly. What is ultra processed food? Yeah, that could be a starting point. Um, got to be connected to something like, and how does it damage your liver? I don't know. Right? Do you know what I mean? So you gotta make it like pop a little bit, because just knowing what it is, just as like, yeah, well, I don't know what it is, and why would I care? So we gotta ask the question, why would I care? Right? That's the second question we might want to ask. Yeah, no, people don't understand what it is anyway, but obviously we need to. So there's something I teach in my program is like, there are three elements to check for. The intrigue check, it's the relevance check, and the zeitgeist check. Okay, so these are three things you need to vet your content and anything you create. It's really, is it intriguing enough? Is it relevant to them? And have they got a little bit of familiarity as well? So, and how can I bring in familiarity? Because the familiarity is like damaging the liver, for example. And then zeitgeist is there a trend perhaps? The people are always talking about this right now, or what's happening in this year, coming up, and that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, if they can't recognize it, but yeah, they can't recognize it because they may not know it right now, but this is why you want to educate them. So connected with something that, and or you could say like, did you know that 99 or whatever, how many percent, 99% of food in your cupboard is ultra processed, and how this will affect your health in a bad way, kind of thing. So now it's familiar. Now it's like bringing it home. Oh, this is close to home. Oh, I didn't realize that what I've got at home is also bad for me, right? So really think about those kinds of things a little bit more as to like more general statements. So content tips. Content needs to be strategically aligned, that should say, with your offers. As I already said, I used the 12-week example. Maybe you have a 6-week program, so you could have 6 pillars here as well. So it's a good starting point. Showcase your expertise. Of course, when we're using frequently asked questions, that's a great way to showcase expertise. Tell stories, right? Maybe you have client stories. Maybe you have your own story, or maybe you know of someone who's gone through something and got the support, changed the lifestyle, and came out better at the end. Because stories really, really connect. I mean, if I had told you, okay, just create 12 weeks of content, I think that would have been boring. I told you my story and how I worked with my VA and how we brainstormed and what tools we've used and how I felt so amazing this morning to actually see the contents just going out there anyway, right? So I'm telling you the story because it's relatable. It's something that is true. And this way you think, "Oh, actually, I could do this as well because it seems plausible." See it in your values as well. Okay, how do you want to show up? I mean, what do you believe in ultimately? Like, I'm seeing my values today, and this week in what I teach, and I'm telling you, this is what I agree with in terms of visibility. This is what I disagree with. Like yesterday, we talked about how to see urgency and scarcity into an offer, and I said, actually, I don't really believe that we should have scarcity, fake scarcity in an offer. If we say there's only 3 spots left, but it's a digital program, people can just download it, and more the merrier. So these are my values, and I'm bringing them in as well. And I can bring them in to any of my trainings, any of my posts. And that is brilliant because now showing your authenticity, right? That is authenticity when you see it in your values. And on day one in the workbook, there was a question. What are your values? And it will really help you reconnect to your values and think, actually, if my value is freedom, how do I express freedom in what I talk about? Some of you work in the empowerment space, like one of my memberships, the Empower Me Hub that I kind of talked about now a little bit with the 12 pillars of content. Freedom, right? You help create freedom, but also the way you want to live your life in freedom and the way you build your business may be freedom. And for me, freedom is building a business with evergreen processes. And that's why I want to teach this evergreen notion and help others to reach that freedom. Okay. Provides content that helps solve a problem. We kind of said that already. So it's, and you know what? It's not about preaching. It's really about maybe showcasing some ideas. This is what helped me. Sometimes we even want to just document what we do. I need to be better at that as well because I've been obviously working on this quest a lot. I could have documented the whole process as to where it all started, what were the steps for me to put this all together and sort of do a little documentation every single day and make a little video and then put that on YouTube. And that way, all of a sudden, my visibility will spike as well because I'm not fabricating something, out of thin air or going to ChatGPT and ask, give me some content ideas. No, actually, it's just documenting what I'm doing right now. Or how I'm helping clients today and what kind of calls I'm having and what kinds of insights I might have had from these calls or what questions I got or challenges I've solved. These are all things really, really valuable that we could use to create content. Okay. Janna, yeah, this is exactly what I need to know to frame an offer properly. Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't seen the replay from yesterday, we actually it was a quite lengthy workbook. I apologize, but it's very detailed about really thinking about your offer. And as you can see, there's so many overlaps here, and there's no right or wrong in terms of what comes first. But I guess ideally, you want to start with your values, with how do you want to build your business, what's the best vehicle. Then you look at your offers, and now you got this offer, you can create your content from it. Quite often people do the other way around, start creating content and don't know what they're going to offer at the end. And that's the problem. So how can we launch something or think about a launch or doing a webinar without actually knowing what we're offering? So I guess going this route in this order is probably the most sensible way and will help you the most rather than kind of spinning a wheel and sort of getting more. The last point here is opening up awareness. So, Gosha, this is your moment. See, this is what we just talked about in the chat. Like some people may not even be aware of all these processed foods and that they might have it in their cupboard. You could create like I could see you go from house to house. I don't know, like, people who go and do organize other people's houses. You could go into people's cupboard and do a little video and say, okay, I want to put all the processed foods out there, and then the person, like, they had just a surprise visit. They're standing there. Oh my God, I didn't know that I had all this stuff that's really bad for me in my cupboard. I thought, white rice is good for me, or I can eat potatoes. It could be a little bit of fun, right? Play a little bit with things like that. Who knows? Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, you could be the cabinet raider or something like this and look at people's food. Yes, I know you're a nutritionist, so that could be a bit of fun, and people would become aware of what they have actually stored and what they actually buy. And I know, that when we go to the supermarkets, I see with different eyes because I know, oh, Gosha, you have helped me last year to really see all this, what is bad for us. And now I look in the supermarket and thinking, actually, if I took all the stuff, what they took off all the stuff that's on the shelf that's not good for you, then there's hardly anything left, right? You think about something like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can, because I know you're very fun and outgoing. So yeah, you could offer to do some free food cabinet audits and then film it and use it for your content. Awesome. If you have any other ideas or reflections or questions, put them in the chat. We're very happy to make this like interactive, of course, so that I can help you during the session as well with your questions, concerns, or where you're stuck. So feel free. Okay. So this is pillar number one. Pillar number two is obviously repurpose with purpose. This is where the evergreen comes in, right? So we want to create, but we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to turn one piece into multiple formats. And I'm going to share with you, obviously, what that could look like in a moment. A couple of slides down, I'll have a toolkit there for you. We want to transform, obviously, like social media post, video clip, and email. We want to utilize one thing and then, create different pieces of content and then also distribute them onto different platforms as well. So say if you've done a video, take the transcript, write posts, LinkedIn newsletter, and video shorts, YouTube shorts, if you're not familiar with that. I will give you a tool for that and a bit of an idea. Sometimes we want to do so many things, but we don't have that much time. So repurposing is absolutely key. Yeah, here are all the tools. Yeah, here are all the tools. So I use schedulers to keep content visible. Obviously, while we focus on bigger goals, and bigger goals is always, making real connections. Things are always happening in the background. You can really be creative, authentic, create that content. But then again, when we are creating different pieces of content, we multiply our visibility. Tools I personally use are here, ChatGPT and Claude to help with copy. Number two, there's Turbo Scribe AI to help with transcriptions. The free version gives you 30-minute transcriptions. As we speak, it may change. They may not do this anymore, but by the time you may watch this, but right now they do. Opus Clip AI is a tool that will help you create YouTube shorts. Again, there is a plan that right now, as we speak, allows you to do 60 minutes or upload a 60-minute video. You could do several videos and just have little snippets of video that will be kind of shortened. So basically, a YouTube short is something that's, I don't know, it's probably maximum 60 seconds. I'm not sure. It's like a 30 to 60-second snippet of a video that you did. And then you can post that over into YouTube as a YouTuber. Also use it on LinkedIn, or maybe you could use it as an Instagram reel. I haven't tested that, but in theory, it's possible to use it as well. But the job of the tool is to cut small snippets, and it actually generates also a transcript and the subtitles for it as well in the video. And it's quite clever because it understands where there's great value in the video, and it cuts that piece. And then obviously it gives you a variety of different videos, and you can go through and say, oh, no, I don't want this one. That one's not so interesting. I'm going to use that one, download it, and then re-upload it to our post planner to plan out posts, which I will share the link with you because there's lots of I agree, but the one that I'm using has some really great features with buckets. You can create per week a bucket, and then you can schedule in those buckets. Say this week I want only these buckets, schedule out, and next week it's that bucket, and it just saves those posts. You can just rerun it in 90 days again. Very easy. So glad. Thank you, Kosha. Clarified it. You need evergreen. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why more businesses don't think about this evergreen, because it just feels like, and me included, I was reinventing the wheel over and over again. until I was so burnt out and I was really, really tired. And I thought, actually, I need to create a system around this. And I want to give other people that system as well so that they can truly do the work that they want to do, right? It's not, we don't want to do marketing 80% of the time. We shouldn't be, right? We were never meant to do that in the first place. So we need systems and we need sort of real intelligence around this and the whole evergreen system. And we put this in place once and then we run it. That's it. That's the idea, right? Okay, where were we? Post planner, planner post. Hive is Canva. Obviously, that's your design tool. It, it's my go-to tool to do my banners and things like this. And then Trello, as I said, Trello is a free tool as well where you can create lists, and under the list you can create cards. And the way I use it is, say, if I have a launch, I have like a Trello launch board. Okay. Then I say, okay, these are all the pre-launch posts, and I can put in the text in each card, and I can also attach the image to that. I can even create the add like the content. I can attach my slide deck as well, so I don't have to keep on looking for it. Hello, this is my launch board for this particular launch, and that's it. And then obviously Google as well, Google Documents for organized posts and emails. You can definitely use that as well. Definitely want to plan ahead, create a list, an ideas list with weekly, monthly themes. I think I told you that now 3, 4 times. Don't want to repeat myself. Schedule maybe a month of posts in advance so you're always top of mind. Now, this was a biggie for me. I'm like, how can I do a month? And yeah, I would never do this. I mean, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. However, I noticed that if I was a month in advance, I could always be a month in advance. It's just the first month. That's the hurdle. It's like getting over this, creating this big piece. And that's why I have enlisted the help of my VA. I've done 90 days of posts, obviously. In time, I've done like 30, 30, and another 30. So it is absolutely realistic. And post that in, put it into the post planner, and then it runs over and over. And all of a sudden, you've got like 90 days and it just runs and it's brilliant. You know, you don't need to put new posts out there for 90 days unless you want to in the moment. And of course, that's always extra, that's additional. Okay, do you have any questions around this or even comments? Or maybe you can say, I don't agree with you. That I'd be very happy, you know, to hear your thoughts. Maybe it's just something that I do, and obviously I feel this is great, and that's why I put it in there to say, well, this is my recommendation.
Yes, I wanted to say that this is so great, Sabine, what you are talking about. It really clarifies mind. And after some time, nearly 2 years of doing so many things, I knew from this year that this is where I want to go this year, that I'm ready to go evergreen. I understand why I need it, but still, it is so much that I even don't know where I will start. Do you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I know
Where
what
to start?
Yeah, and this is where the and thank you, Boscha. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna give you a roadmap, actually, a roadmap to Evergreen at the end of this. And you're right. It's like, where do you start? I mean, what are the components? And this is why I want to shed a bit of light to this. The way I started was literally on a piece of paper because I was fed up. I was like, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Things aren't quite working the way I want it to work. So I actually started with a big piece of paper, even like a flip chart. I've got this sort of role because, my background is process project management, and I'm always like with post-it notes and things. And I find it easier. I could move things around. So I was just mapping out the things that I was doing right now, and I think we talked about this in day one anyway, like how you could use it, visualize, and then say, where do I want to move to? What's the ideal way of doing business? What's my ideal day? And then say, okay, let's start here, right? Where's my biggest pain point? Or maybe how have I got my foundations right? Right. And that's why I'm teaching you day by day the foundations and the ideal steps. Yeah. But definitely use a pen and paper. Don't overcomplicate things. It's always a great starting point. So your task for today in the workbook will be to draft your first evergreen post. Well, what's the difference between a normal post and an evergreen post? I think we're creating the post in the same way. We're going to ask one question your audience always asks. That may be an easy one to start with. Then write a 2 to 3 sentence response, and then always add a bit of a call to action as to what you want them to do next. It could be great, go and book a call, or follow me on YouTube, or add me as a friend, or comment below, answer a question, whatever it may. Just give them a call to action. Now we're going to turn it then evergreen by, you know, maybe even save it in a document that says my evergreen posts, and so that you have a place where you can find them again. And if you have some post planning tool, then plan it in there. If it has the capability of then recycling it, and you can save it in there and bring it out again after 90 days, that would be a great starting point. Okay, so start small, I would say, but always think evergreen. How do we save these things? Maybe you want to open a Trello board and say, well, okay, from this year onwards, I'm going to save every single post I'm creating on a Trello board, which I did last year. And now I can always pull those ones out as well. Of course, nowadays we have ChatGPT, we can ask for new posts, but once we start saving them, it's going to get much easier. Okay, cool. Trello. Yeah, perfect. Now, a bit of a recap as to what we covered today, and what it looks like to show up like that amazing visibility queen. So it starts off with number 3. It's your bottom of the pyramid. It's your foundation. So think about problem-solving content. Then think about how you can repurpose it, even if you then, make that post today, and then tomorrow maybe you want to go live and talk about it. And then you automate it. You post it on a post planning platform, or maybe you want to start using YouTube. You could test one of the other tools that I recommended, transcription for your videos, or Opus Clip AI to make a YouTube short. Okay, I think that's where are we? Oh yeah, I just want to share with you a real life example, so I don't just talk at you and like, well, who have you helped? But I wanted to bring this one to the forefront because this lady, she was amazing. So she actually started off, Noreen is her name. Noreen started off, she was very confused about her message. Not only she was confused, but also her market. And the thing is that she's working with horses, as you can see from this post. And it was really difficult for her to nail her message around what she actually does and how she helps people transform with the power of horses. And even more so difficult because she wanted to get into the corporate market, and because she lives on a farm, and so she owns her horses, and she also has a capability to host people, and has guest rooms, and so she can host full on retreats, and she wanted to obviously sell these retreats into corporate. When she came to me, she had no clue how she would put this together, how to market it. She was actually quite scared that she would be laughed at, perhaps. So she went through the steps I was telling you about, like, that we're going through this week, basically. And we started off, obviously, shaping her offers. And in the middle here, you can see she created 9 steps to unleash your inner power in 12 weeks. And I can't read all of it, it's a bit blurry, but for leaders, we want to find their purpose, direction, and increase confidence through revolutionary program that taps into the power of the horse. Okay, so there's the tagline. So we really worked on honing in her message, but not only that, we visualized her process. And this is how she created her signature program. And this is where my tagline on top says clarity helped Noreen stand out from the competition and create her market of one. What do I mean by that? It's basically no one else really had these 9 steps. Maybe there's other people who work with horses, and there's probably other people who do the same thing in your industry. But once you start really crafting something like a signature methodology and put steps around it and then create something visual, well, now you're talking, right? Now we're cooking with gas. Now you can use it and promote and put that out there on posts and on your website and things like that, and you can talk around this. And this was for her was the was a big transformation. It was that turning point for her to be able to actually freely talk about what she does, and people started to see her as the expert, and as they were really starting to get interested in her program. So now there was business. She became, so on the right hand side, a screenshot there. She posted Businesswoman of the Year in one of the networks that she attends in Ireland. In the beginning, she was hiding. She couldn't even express what she did. And then at the end of that working with me, she was cruising. And now I see her posting. Just recently, she hosted another retreat which was fully booked, and now she brings in corporate clients, and it's just running, right? It's just running. So this is the power of being really um, specific with your offer and really going through some of the things that I've shared with you. So it's just kind of want to show that what I teach does work in essence. Um, yeah, thank you, Gosha. Yeah. Now it's making it real. I mean, this is work. It is hard work in the beginning to put it together, and it is really, you have to switch on your brain and really, really start thinking. It's not like press the button and just take this blueprint from someone else and just plug and play. It's not gonna work. I've done this in my past. I wouldn't recommend it because it just doesn't align with you, who you are. You're not going to stand out. It does, that piece, the foundation does take quite a bit of work. And we underestimate this. A lot of times it's like, yeah, we know this. I've already gotten off. I've already got this. But then is it working? And if it's not working, then we do have to go back into those foundational things and really hone in on the message and put a bit of meat to the bones as well. Like, I love this visual representation because it's so unique, and probably none of the other coaches that work with horses has it. And I have a collateral of these because I worked with hundreds of clients, and they all received my template for these 9 steps, and they can edit it and put their own icons. I give that to them as part of my services, so that all the heavy lifting is done. They don't have to start from scratch, and they have other ideas and other examples from other businesses within the program as well. Okay, so that's a great example here. And yeah, let me go and just post the link to the workbook again for those that came a little bit later. Make a copy of the day 3 workbook, and I think I'm just gonna share with you what awaits you today in terms of your homework. Let me actually come out of this quickly. Quest workbook day 3. Okay, hopefully you can see this now. If not, give me a shout. So this is the workbook. Yeah, just create a copy by going to File and then make a copy. Then you have your own copy and you can edit it. Bit of a welcome. Oh, just a little note. If you did want to speak to me, I'll just explain a little bit more in a minute. I do have this Evergreen Success Bootcamp coming up, which is brand new, and I'm very excited. And I've put a little info here so you can go and read it and have a think. Something there we can work together on. If you'd like to join me on that, then we can have a conversation. So we're gonna reflect on your current visibility, right? So we've got sections here. You can just toggle, and again, like always, you can just fill in the box. And I've gone through the 3 pillars again. So basically, why this is a bit off, we just that. So the three pillars, I'm repeating those, and I'm going to make you go through an exercise to help you with creating the content pillars, right? The themes. You can think about the themes. Then we're going to look at the repurposing, right? Maybe you can think about how could I repurpose. And again, we'll go back to the tools, the automation here as well. What tools are currently using, what's working, what's not working, and what else could you be using as well. And then a little action plan for you. And then there's a bit more about the success bootcamp. Um, I'm gonna share just a tiny bit. I'll probably talk a bit more about it tomorrow as we have more time. But right now, I just wanted to share initially an initial piece of info. Do you have any questions around the visibility before we kind of wrap up? I think tomorrow we're going to go into launches, obviously. This is where we're going to go out and going to sell your stuff, right? So it's building this evergreen machine. We can talk about things like webinar, challenges. I've done them all. And also even soft launches and launches we can automate where you don't have to be there all the time, that you can just sort of record and then use it over and over again as well. So that's going to be a really exciting topic tomorrow. So make sure you come back, same time, same place. I'll also send out the email with the replayed workbook invite for tomorrow. And if I may, just 5 minutes, just wanted to explain what is it that I do. I do have an invitation. If you do want to join me and you want to create this entire evergreen empire and all the steps, I've given you obviously a good synopsis of what it is, but there's obviously quite a lot of work, and I've put all the templates together, the systems, tools. So if there's something there, then I do have the Evergreen Success Bootcamp. It's brand new for this year, as I'm always up leveling. Every year I'm creating a better and better program. So I'm going to run it live this time, and then it becomes evergreen again. Okay. So this is your chance, perhaps. And because I'm running it live, there's going to be more interaction. You have more access to me. Maybe not everything's going to be perfect, but I will go and create the stuff. As you can see, workbooks and things is quite comprehensive, but we will work together on this. And I believe that it's not just about getting some training, it's about implementation. This is the key. When it comes to it, whoever you choose in terms of working with, think about who's going to really help you implement and sit down with you and look over the shoulder. This is very important to me. This is what I bake into this program. Okay. The run through of the modules, I'll obviously go into more detail about the map. So there's 6 different modules. It's a 12-week program. It's live. Week 1 is always a training, and week 2 is always a co-working and implementation session. We literally come on Zoom and we do the stuff together, and I look over your shoulder. That's the beauty about it. And of course, so week 1 and 2 would be looking at the map in detail, going through it. I guess module 2, that would be week 3 that you'll follow, right? So the first 2 weeks, module 1, and 2 weeks we'll spend on module 2, which is looking at your offers, and we'll also create this visual map and think about your signature program. Okay, so you get all the templates. I got tons and tons of templates. And if you need more templates, I'll go and find them. Then, of course, we're going to do the visibility. We're going to create actually 365 for the whole year. We just create a whole content plan. I help you with that, organize all of this, help you with the tools. We'll put everything together. Then 4 will be launches. So we can talk about, not everyone wants to do webinars or challenges. So what other launches could be? Maybe it's an ebook you want to put together, a lead magnet funnel. So there's different things that we can do to then launch, and think about automation when it comes to launching as well. And then I have got the module 5, which is now, it's called the Princess of Experience, right? It's creating the experience inside a course, a program. So once you've got people in, how do you onboard, right? How do you enroll? How do you create experiences? How do you keep people accountable? Maybe what are the things that you need, like onboarding documents, a welcome pack, a contract, like all the templates coming. in the program. And then module 6 is the Queen of Nature's Evergreen Growth. So now we're looking at scaling this, at looking at optimizing what's working, what's not working. I think this is probably one of the only programs that will actually help you optimize what you got in place, because it's important. I don't just walk away like, here we go, here's the stuff, I'll walk away. No, what is working? What's not working? Okay, let's tweak a little bit, right? So that's why I've built it in. This is why it's 12. It could be a 6-week program, seriously, but I want it to be a bit more expansive, make sure there is implementation. So if you'd like to have a look, there also, I'm quite sort of keen on what are the things you actually are going to get in terms of assets, hard assets. So I'll put that in here as well, and I'll send them out. You see each module has like real things you're going to walk away with, including templates for websites or Canva templates for onboarding documents, the whole launch sequences and all of that, GTP prompts, everything. So they're all here. There is 50% off because you're on the quest, and because I'm doing this live and it's kind of like a bit of a beta program because it's new. I would love to have your feedback. So it is quite an insane price at the moment. So I have a link, special bonuses. There is a template vault. I'll show this tomorrow because I think it would be great just to show you sort of how marketing templates could look like for launches. And then also thinking I'll be very generous here because I am opening a new school group. It's going to be a new place, and I'd love to invite you for 12 months for free. And it's going to be extra things in there. It's going to be guest speakers coming in, networking once a month. Of course, there's more training coming. It's going to be fantastic in there. So I'm just going to chuck this in because I'd love to see the community with good people and just make sure I over deliver. So I have a coupon code, Quest 2025, and if you have questions, of course, you know where I am. You can always ask me detail, but I have a very detailed document that is actually attached to the Quest workbook as well. But that's all I wanted to share for today. I may go a bit more deeper, answer more questions about the program tomorrow if you're interested. But I'll just pop it in the chat. And how much it is? Well, it is I think 997 or payment plan 3 times 360. Basically, let me just go check out. Yeah, so there's so 50% would take it to 977. And then this one should be 366, 3 payments. Because it's 3 months, you can pay over 3 months. Okay, so this link is connected also in the Google Doc. So it tells you when you look at the Google Doc, which I just posted in the chat, you can read in more detail, and when you click here, you then come to the sign up page. It tells you the timeline and very much detail about each of the modules, the artifacts you're going to get, and estimated timetable in terms of when the sessions are going to be held. I haven't got a time yet. I have to see obviously what time zones there will be. I want to make sure it fits most people. Once you enroll, you get a onboarding document and a kickoff call. Okay, so it's very personal, very personalized. It's going to be a small group. So the first time around I'm running, obviously, I'd love to have some feedback, and yeah, I'm just gonna sort of get all the stuff together that you guys need from my treasure chest. So anyway, that's all for today. If you got any more questions, let me know now. Hopefully you've got the workbook. And then, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Thank you, Jana. Good. Yeah. Thank you, Angelica. Good to see you as well. Yeah. All right. Have a good one. Take care.